on his bumper is Raiden Nickel. They all brake hard to go into turn number one. Nothing doing there, no move there by Nickel, but he was right on his bumper looking for an opportunity. Meanwhile, we're watching Jeremy Buckingham get around Scott Carlisle as they go through turn number one, and that's the Spec E30 getting around one of those Miatas. So your leader in the Spec E30 class would be Jeremy Buckingham as we come down out of turn number four now through five, slowing down for six. Raiden Nickel peeking to the inside of Jose Garcia. Not ready to take that chance yet. Meanwhile, Keith Williamson and Blake Fabiani are in close pursuit, so your top four is broken away. Meanwhile, Scott Carlisle and Jeremy Buckingham are dicing it up as it looks like Carlisle has taken that position back. And again, they are in different classes, so we're talking overall position. So that Beamer fighting with that Miata as they come up over the hill, disappear out of our vantage point, but into the side of the sky cam. There we are, as we see them again disappear around behind the trees, just as I say that. But here we come. Looks like Nickel looking to the inside again. He's thinking about it. He's waiting for that mistake, but he's being patient as well as he nipped the apex coming through that turn number 16 and down to the line again. And looking to the inside is Raiden Nickel. He has position this time. Will he be able to brake hard enough? Yes, he does. He clears Jose Garcia, and your new leader is Raiden Nickel as they come through turn number one, up the hill through two. We got a spinner. We got Scott Carlisle spinning off in turn number one. He's able to get it back underway, but he will lose a lot of ground there. Scott Carlisle having a little trouble there going into one. That's a tough corner because you're coming off the fastest part to one of the slowest. And brakes are important, and you need to be able to make them last for the entirety of these races. Meanwhile, here comes Raiden Nickel, Jose Garcia, Keith Williamson, and Blake Fabiani. 1, 2, 3, 4 passed us out of turn number six. Your leader in the Spec E30 class will still be Jeremy Buckingham. Then comes Greg Treason, Jerry Griffin, Chris Hune, Bill Griffin, Bill Kring, Bill Miller. A lot of Bills here. Feel like I'm in good company now, and Andrew Nagy rounding out the field. Of course, we had Scott Carlisle falling to the back after that spinner in turn number one. We've completed 3 laps now as the field goes into the back side of the track, working to complete one more. We are 4 minutes and 47 seconds into this one as the field stretches out a bit as they come out of 16 and come down to the line. Here comes your leader. Raiden Nickel opened up for this class is a pretty sizable lead at the line. It was a difference of about 7/10 of a second, and about the same back to Williamson and then back to Fabiani. So the top four spacing it out a little bit, but don't count on that lasting for very long. Meanwhile, your leader in the Spec E30s, Jeremy Buckingham, widening up against another Spec E30. That's Greg Treason. So you got a battle there for first place coming into turn number 4 between those Beamers. And Chris Hune is right behind them, so there are 3 of your BMWs right there. 1, 2, 3 battling it out. As the leaders overall in the Spec Miata class come by, it's Nickel, Garcia Williamson, and Blake Fabiani. Then come Buckingham, Treason, and then Chris Hune.
Now, one driver to keep an eye on here today, Bill, is going to be Nagy. This is his first race in a Miata with us. He's normally a common sight in the Radicals, but since we're not running downforce today, he reached out to them and said, hey, let me grab one of your Spec Miatas, throw me out there in the grid. I want to race anyways. And so he's out there in a Miata today, normally one of the common names running in our downforce division. And you should see the field coming into sight momentarily.
And we see that Nickel and Garcia have opened it up a bit over Williamson and Fabiani as they come to the line now to complete lap number 5. 5 laps complete here. 6.5 minutes into this pre-final for the Spec Miatas and Spec E30s here at Atlanta Motorsports Park. Weekend number 5 in the Summer Series. And
Jose Garcia is not letting up on Raiden Nickel. About 2.5, 3 car lengths off the bumper right now.
At the line that last time by, it was a 0.6 second difference. So Garcia closed it up a little bit, and he closes up a lot heading into turn 6. Of course, you'll see that as everybody brakes and the field accordions, but Nickel does not get away that much as they hit the accelerator coming out of 6, coming up and over the hill. We may see a challenge and some action before long as they disappear up and over the hill going through turn 7, and we'll return to the sky cam and look and see what everybody is up to as it's Nickel and Garcia with a little bit of a gap, then back to Williamson and Fabiani. They'll go behind the trees for a moment, then they'll take another turn, and we'll see them again, and there they go. These guys going at it here. We'll see them appear out of turn 16 very shortly. And we'll see what the differential is between Nickel and Garcia, first and second, as they come out of 16. Right now, we'll see them in just a moment. Here they come. It's Garcia right, maybe half a car length behind Raiden Nickel at the line. So he is closing, and he dives to the inside, going into turn number 1. Did the same move that Nickel did on him a few laps ago, and he will take first place for the moment. But Nickel, in kind, comes back to the inside as they go through turn 2. He'll have position.
Oh, but Garcia gets in front of him coming into the S's there, Bill. He's going to maintain position coming up in the carousel.
And here they come through turn 4. Garcia hanging on. I'm not sure how he did that. He made the move. Going into 1, had it, but it looked like Nickel was going to have position going into 4. But before they could even get there, Garcia closed the door and reassumes first place. Meanwhile, Keith Williamson's opened up a little bit of the gap between himself and Blake Fabiani. Woo, for third place. It's Buckingham, Treason, and Chris Hune missed a shift or did something, but he was closing in a little bit, but all of a sudden the car just stalled on him coming out of turn number 6. By our position, whoa, Scott Carlisle wagging that tail coming out of 6 as well. So Carlisle's mount is not handling to his satisfaction so far. He's already spun it once, and he really fishtailed it coming out of turn number 6 on the way by this time. We are 6 laps in the books, working on lap number 7, 9 minutes and 30 seconds into this feature, pre-feature, as the field will exit turn 14, 15 through 16 by the line again. And at the line, you have Jose Garcia with a 2/10 second lead, but Raiden Nickel closes it up right there in turn 1. He's looking to outbrake Garcia coming into one of those turns. He couldn't do it for 1. Maybe he can for 6 as they go through 2, back through 3. We'll see him reappear again up through turn number 4, and there is Raiden Nickel right on the rear bumper of Jose Garcia coming out of 4. Peaks just a little bit to the inside, but nothing doing so far. But they come down the hill. They'll go through turn number 5, hitting the brakes. Who brakes later? Garcia holds on as Nickel was taking the lower line through turn number 6. Now that doesn't let him get back on the gas quite as quickly, but he was looking to get position. Not able to duck underneath that time. Meanwhile, Keith Williamson is pulling away, it looks like, from Blake Fabiani. Meanwhile, there's Buckingham and Treason. Chris Hune seems to have gotten his act together there, coming out of 6 this time, a lot smoother and a lot quicker as they come by our position. Meanwhile, it's Bill Griffin, Jerry Griffin, Bill Kring, Scott Carlisle, and Bill Miller is shown as 12th. He was did not start, as we don't have, yeah, he didn't start, nor did Andrew Nagy, according to
Here come your race leaders out of 14 and 15 right now. Raiden Nickel looking to the inside of Jose Garcia as they make their way onto the front straightaway.
When they hit the line, let's get a differential here. It was just barely a fender length as they come to the line. We'll say exactly 1/10 of a second, and it certainly looked closer than that as they come out of turn number 1 in the same order. As Raiden Nickel powers his way to the rear bumper of Jose Garcia through 3 and now into 4. They come up the rise, come through the carousel. As they exit and come into turn number 5 now, Jose Garcia will stretch it a little bit, but again, they accordion a little bit closer as they come into 6. Raiden Nickel taking that lower line, nipping the curbing as he comes through, but not able to make up any ground on Jose Garcia as they go through turn number 7. We'll watch them go on by as they come up around the corner and up the hill. We're watching Raiden Nickel pursuing Jose Garcia there.
And Jose Garcia opening up that lead a little bit through the back hill, although Raiden Nickel historically strong in that back section of the track. We'll look to see if he gains position as they make their way through turns 13 and 14 and back into our sight.
As they come into 15, and they will return back to the front straight after exiting 16. In just a moment, we'll get another differential at the line, although they couldn't get too much closer as it's only 1/10 of a second. It was about half a car length of that as they came by last time. A little bit bigger lead for Jose Garcia, which isn't saying a whole lot as it's just about a quarter of a second difference between the two. And there is Nickel right on his bumper coming through turn number 1. Whether he's looking to take some air off of him or whatever he wants to do coming into that turn. Raiden Nickel is not letting Jose Garcia rest. Meanwhile, we've lost Keith Williamson. Did he come on to pit road? I don't see Williamson anywhere as Blake Fabiani is by himself now. I believe Williamson is pulled off the track. As they come to the line now, he will drop down, get to last among the runners now. As we watch Garcia and Nickel, there comes Keith Williamson to the attention of his pit crew. Meanwhile, third place, Blake Fabiani speeds by. Your leader in the Spec E30 class, Jeremy Buckingham, comes by. Chris Hune and Greg Treason and then Hune coming by. Meanwhile, Keith Williamson is starting to, Scott Carlisle starting to dice it up with Bill Kring and Bill Griffin. Kring and Griffin are side by side right there in front of Carlisle as they come up and over the hill. We'll see if that amounts to anything as it got some side-by-side racing in the middle of the field.
Yeah, they spread out a little bit there, Bill, as they go into the back side of the track. We'll see if this heats up as they make their way through turns 11 and 12.
And speaking of heating up, Raiden Nickel looking to the outside this time going into turn 1. He had a little position, and now as he comes out into turn number 2, he is coming by. He has gotten by leader Jose Garcia as they come into 4. He will close the door through 3 into 4. He was outside going into 4, managed to close the door before they got there. And now your leader once again is Raiden Nickel as they come out of turn number 4 through that gentle turn 5 and then hard on the brakes. And here comes
Jose.
Jose back underneath, and he will take first back.
He dives him into 6. Puts that bumper in front of him, shuts the door.
And Raiden Nickel gives him a little love tap as he does that. And he comes up and over the hill. There you go. We had an unofficial lead change there between turns 4 and turn 6. A couple of them, actually. And Jose Garcia is again your race leader. Your Spec E30s have pretty much spread things out here as it's Buckingham, Treason, and then Hune as they come by. Next up is Jerry Griffin. He's opened up things now as Scott Carlisle manages to get by Kring and I believe Bill Griffin, and he is hunting down Jerry Griffin even as we speak. Back to the line now. Here comes Raiden Nickel to the inside. He'll have position going into turn number 1, and we will have a new leader. He didn't lead at the line, but he's leading coming out of 1. But here comes Jose Garcia in kind, getting underneath Raiden Nickel, and he will pull him as he goes into turn number 3, then 4. He'll manage to shut the door and deny him first place once again. So another couple lead changes. Is this what we are going to be seeing in the last 3 minutes and 20 seconds of this pre-final? I certainly hope so. This race, as we say every time, never fails to disappoint, and it has not here. Wait. It never disappoints, rather. I did not say that. It never fails to excite as they come by. No, it never fails to disappoint. That is right. Okay. I don't need to be messing with my double negatives here as the field behind the leaders come by. Here comes third place, Blake Fabiani. Meanwhile, here comes Buckingham, Treason, and Hune, still in that same order. They're spaced about equidistant, some 20 car lengths from one to the other. As Jerry Griffin then comes by in 7th place overall. Here comes Scott Carlisle. Not sure if he's going to be able to close up in the time remaining, but he's definitely wanting to make up some of that ground he lost with that spin in turn 1 earlier. Meanwhile, your leaders emerge from turn number 16, come down to the line to complete lap number 12, and it is still Jose Garcia, but will Raiden Nickel try it again? He's not in position this time, as he's content to stay in the tire tracks of Jose Garcia as they come around turn number 1 and come back up the hill. Although he's closing him, he seems to have more get up and go as they go up the hill. And we'll see if he can convert that into something as they come through the carousel. He's maybe a car length behind Garcia as they exit the carousel and prepare to go through 5 and then hit turn number 6. That may be a passing point for Raiden Nickel, although Garcia's pulled him to about 3 car lengths. That doesn't keep Raiden Nickel from trying as he looks to the inside. He's consistently taking a lower line through turn number 6, but this time not able to pull anything on leader Jose Garcia. Meanwhile, Scott Carlisle, as the leaders go out of sight, he comes out of turn number 4. That's how big the difference is. Back to third place is a whole 21 seconds now, so we're down to a 2-car battle for the lead in the Spec Miata class. Meanwhile, the E30s seem fairly settled out as Jeremy Buckingham leads Greg Treason, but Chris Hune is noticeably closing on Greg Treason. We may have a battle for second place in those E30s before all is said and done. Meanwhile, looking to turn 16, we'll see the leaders emerge any moment now, and we will have a battle as they come down to the line. And Jose Garcia takes the white flag. Last lap, white flag for Jose Garcia. He had maybe 3-4 car lengths on Raiden Nickel at the line. It was actually 0.37 seconds, almost 4/10 there for Jose Garcia, but don't think that's going to mean anything to Raiden Nickel as he closes as they go through turn number 2 into 3, battling through the carousel. It's down to less than a car length now as they traverse the carousel. They'll come through turn number 5 and hit turn number 6. Now, Garcia able to open up a little bit of an advantage as they exit 5 and go into 6. Nickel closes a little bit, but not enough to make a challenge to Jose Garcia as the rest of the field passes under the white flag. Let's take a quick look back through turn number 2 and see what Chris Hune is doing to Greg Treason. Hune is definitely closing. Treason gets a little squirrely going into the carousel, so we may have a battle for second place in the Spec E30s as they exit turn number 4 and come down through 5. Will Chris Hune have anything for Greg Treason as they come into turn number 6? He's trying, drifting out, and they are giving it all they have. As you can see them on the edge of traction coming out. Those 2 Beamers going at it up and over the hill into turn number 7 and out of sight. So that will be something else to watch as our leaders should be coming by any moment to settle it out here for first place. And it looks like it's going to be Jose Garcia with a relatively easy win, if you want to call 0.3 of a second easy, but the way Raiden Nickel was hammering away at this back bumper those last several laps, and in fact swapping the lead there between turns 1 and 6. It's kind of surprising to see him finish that far ahead. Maybe 3-4 car lengths, and here comes third place. Blake Fabiani taking the checkered flag. Your Spec E30 winner, Jeremy Buckingham. Meanwhile, here comes Treason and Hune And Treeson's able to hold on now. Hune had closed it up, but it looks like Treeson stretched it out a bit on the back side of the course as he ended up taking second place in the E30s by about 0.7 of a second. So a pretty action-packed pre-final there for the Spec Miatas and the E30s, Will.
Yes, it was, Bill. And honestly, the surprising turn of events was Keith Williamson having to make that early track exit. Be interesting to see if he gets back up and running before race 2, although definitely not good for the points because he is currently your second-place runner in the points series. Every race counts here, Bill, so this pre-final counts towards points and the final counts towards points. The drivers do get a drop date. So out of the 8 weeks that we run this series, they can pick one to drop, but it drops both results from the day, so they have to drop the morning race and the afternoon race when they pick that date. So a little bit of strategy towards the end of the season when you pick which drop date, but not good for Keith Williamson because he had to drop out early.
But as they say, that's racing. I made that up. You like that? All righty, that'll do it for the pre-final for the Spec E30s and the Spec Miatas. We're going to take lunch break now, and we will return with the final of the self-same cars. All the cars and stars of the Spec Miatas and the Spec E30s here at Atlanta Motorsports Park.
So if you are tuning in online right now, make sure to check back in with us around 1:50. The grid will be open at 1:30, and we will be back underway shortly thereafter. So again, the track is now open. All members, any registered racers, if you want to get out there, shake your car down, get out and drive on track. We are hot right now, and we will be back at it with racing action this afternoon. Make sure you tune back in around 1:45, and we will be going away momentarily.
We appreciate your listening, joining us on YouTube and on Facebook live streaming, as well as those of you trackside watching here at Atlanta Motorsports Park. This is weekend number 5 in the Summer Racing Series. We'll be back at you in a little bit. Back with you from Atlanta Motorsports Park in Dawsonville, Georgia. Weekend number 5 of the Summer Racing Series. Getting ready for the Spec Miatas and Spec BMW E30 final. Coming up very soon. The field is gridded and we will be released to the track very shortly. Rachel Heiler in the pace car will lead them out, and we'll have one lap and get underway very shortly here. And if you were watching the pre-final, you know there is excitement galore out there. We had very exciting races all the way through the field, plus a little bit of misfortune for a couple of our top runners. Scott Carlisle and Keith Williamson ran into trouble, and they will be starting at the rear of the field. But starting at the front will be the pre-final winner. Jose Garcia on the outside pole will be Raiden Nickel. Second row, Blake Fabiani and Jeremy Buckingham. Third row, Greg Tresson and Chris Hune. Row 4 will be Jerry Griffin and Bill Griffin. Bill Kring, Scott Carlisle round out your top 10. And then the aforementioned Keith Williamson will be starting in 11th. Also in the lineup, Bill Miller and Andrew Nagy, although they did not run the last one. We'll see who's out there. Looks like Williamson is going to be our last man out there, so that's going to be it. Be an 11-car field for this Spec Miata. And
yeah, I was
Spec
down there
E30.
talking with Nagy during the break, and he said that car was having a little bit of misfiring problems, so they went ahead and parked it for the day. So he is currently on the sidelines watching. Normally in the downforce division, although came to run the Miatas. Since we were not doing any downforce today, had some car problem, very tough luck to have. But we've got 11 cars on grid right now, Bill. And this is heating up to be an exciting race number 2.
And what I don't see out there yet are the other 2 E30s. It looks like Nagy may be the only one out there. As they rolled by, I think only counted 9. We will see as they come by. They're on the back side of the course now, winding through at low speed for the last time before they cut them loose and we get the action underway here in this Spec Miata Spec E30 final here at Atlanta Motorsports Park. Here we go, and there comes Jeremy Buckingham to join the field. No sign of Greg Treason, though.
And we should see our field coming into sight momentarily here on the AMP Skycam. We've got that camera pointed at the exit of turn 14 there, and as you can see, the AMP pace car making its way off the track. Here comes the grid, 2x2x2 through turns 15 and 16 as we wait for the starter to go ahead and give our field the green flag.
And here comes our third E30 down pit road and ready to get lined up here. He's going to be at a severe disadvantage as here comes the field awaiting the green flag. It's going to be Garcia and Nichols side by side, waiting for that green flag. And green is out. Green. We are underway here at Atlanta Motorsports Park, and it's Jose Garcia and Raiden Nichols side by side heading to turn 1. Garcia will have the advantage having the inside position, so he will take first. Behind him is Nichols. Then comes Blake Fabiani. Chris Hune challenging Fabiani on the outside in that E30. Probably not going to be able to keep up with him there, but he does fall back into 4th overall as the field comes out of turn number 4. We see Jerry Griffin behind him, followed by Scott Carlisle, already making up some ground. As the field races through turn number 6 for the first time by our position. And up and out of sight, here comes Greg Tresson. And there goes Buckingham. He finally made it around to take the green flag. He may have a shot at second overall, rather, in the second in the E30 series, rather, as he races up out of turn number 1, up through 2 into 3, as we should see the rest of the field come out of 16 shortly.
And there go your race leaders, Jose Garcia, Raiden Nickel, as they come through 15 and 16 onto the front straightaway.
And at the line, it's going to be Jose Garcia opening up a 3-car length lead. A good ways back then to Blake Fabiani, as here comes Scott Carlisle ducking inside both Chris Hune and Blake Fabiani to take third place overall. Great move there.
He got the 2-for-1 special there, Bill, going into turn 1. Dives to the inside, forces those 2 cars to lay off the throttle as he just dipped right on the inside and took that position.
So here comes Scott Carlisle in pursuit of Jose Garcia and Raiden Nickel, as we have completed 2 laps now. 2 laps in the books here in the Spec Miata and the Spec E30 final here at Atlanta Motorsports Park. The field comes racing out of turn number 6. Jerry Griffin, rather, getting a little out of shape, coming out of 6, gets onto the rumble strip just a little bit, but to no harm as they disappear out of sight. And we will see Greg Treson go on by us here. And here comes Buckingham as well. He's coming through turn 1. So a couple guys didn't get on the track on time. They're out here to turn laps at this point, as we watch the field come into 15, which turns into 16, and 16 will dump out here onto the main straightaway, and here we come. Looking to complete lap number 3 this time by. And there we are. There is Garcia and Nickel. Nickel right on Garcia's bumper. Let's look at the differential at the line. Nickel was just a 1/10 of a second behind. Check that. Yeah, he was a 1/10 of a second behind, and 3 seconds back is Scott Carlisle from the leader. So we're going to see if Scott Carlisle has anything for those lead 2. The eyeball test shows that he is maintaining the gap in between himself and Nickel and Garcia up at the front of the field, but he's being hassled by Keith Williamson as they go into turn 6. Meanwhile, Nickel taking that lower line through turn number 6, trying to look underneath Garcia. And Williamson looking to do something about Carlisle for that 4th position. So we got races all over the place here at Atlanta Motorsports Park.
And you can see those leaders heading up the back hill, all 98 feet of it, as they head through that blind left-right. That is turn 12 and 13. And they make their way onto that back number 14, that big double apex sweeper, where a lot of time is lost or a lot of time is gained, Bill.
4 minutes and 45 seconds into this one so far. And the leaders will come by to complete lap number 4 this time. When we see them emerge out of 16, here they come. Raiden Nickel looking left, looking right on his bumper as they hit the line. You couldn't put a postcard in between the 2 of them. And meanwhile, Keith Williamson has retaken 3rd place from Scott Carlisle. So they've got their own battle going there for 3rd place. Blake Fabiani is securely back in 5th, followed by Chris Hune, who will be 1st place in the E30s, but 6th overall. Then will come Bill Griffin and Jerry Griffin behind those 2. And then here comes Bill Kring behind them. Meanwhile, Garcia and Nickel come out of turn number 6, followed hotly by Williamson and Carlisle. 2 twosomes there, then the lone car of Blake Fabiani, then Chris Hune. So let's look at that differential at the line this time by Keith Williamson was about 3.5 seconds behind the leaders as they came to the line the last time by. We'll keep an eye on that and see if they're gaining ground or closing ground. They're less likely to gain ground if he's battling with Scott Carlisle. But we will see how that works itself out as the field is working the back side of the track right now.
And you should see your leaders emerge right now coming out the back side of the track. Jose Garcia is still hotly contesting the lead right now with Raiden Nickel on his bumper as they come past the start-finish line.
A couple car lengths lead this time as Williamson seems to have stretched it out a little bit from Scott Carlisle. But let's check that differential at the line. 3.1. 3.1, so he's lopped off 4/10 that last lap. 3.1 seconds, the difference between first and third at this point. So we'll see if Keith Williamson can take advantage of that hotly contested first place battle and make this a 3 or possibly 4 car battle if Scott Carlisle can stay in contact with them as they come out of turn number 4 down the hill through turn number 5, braking sharply for that turn number 6. And look at Raiden Nickel get way down on the rumble strip, looking to cut the corner and find a way underneath underneath Jose Garcia. And he did this several times but was not able to close the deal. He had passed him in turn 4 but get passed back before he got to turn number 6. So we're looking forward to a lot more of that as we are 7.5 minutes into this Spec Miata Spec E30 final here at Atlanta Motorsports Park. Gotten to be a nice muggy 84 degrees right now in Dawsonville. And the action on the track is even hotter than that as Jose Garcia is being challenged by Raiden Nickel for the lead here. This next time by, we'll be looking to complete lap number 6. We have 5 in the books. We'll have 6 shortly as the leaders will come sweeping out of turn number 16.
Nickel
Here they come.
Frantically shoving Jose Garcia through turn 16, Bill.
Looking to the outside as they head towards turn number 1. Thinks better of it, stays behind him as they get way down on the binders, come out of turn number 1 in good order, maybe a car length differential. But at the line, let's go back and look at differentials. It was only 2.4 seconds, so a whole second chopped off there. Excuse me, half a second chopped off there by Keith Williamson. So he's taking advantage of that battle up front, but he is noticeably closing on your lead pair. Scott Carlisle still in contact, but let's go back and look at the leaders. Jose Garcia.
Oh, Raiden Nickel thought about it there for a second, Bill.
He wanted to tuck a fender underneath, didn't quite have enough brakes to do it, but he closed it way down, was not able to get underneath, but he's thinking about it, and we see where he's been making those moves is in the braking zones there at 1 and 6 on the front side of the track here. So at the line this time, it was Jose Garcia, Raiden Nickel, Keith Williamson, Scott Carlisle, Blake Fabiani, Chris Hune, the first of the E30s, then Bill Griffin, Bill Kring, Jerry Griffin, and Jeremy Buckingham, your top 10. As the aforementioned Buckingham comes by the line right now to complete lap number 6. 9.5 minutes into this final for the Spec Miatas and Spec E30s here at Atlanta Motorsports Park, weekend number 5 of the Summer Racing Series. And here they come to the line, looking again to the outside as Raiden Nickel. Nothing doing there, though, as he's maybe 2 car lengths behind leader Jose Garcia. But look at Keith Williamson closing that gap. It may be 5 car lengths now. The timing differential at the line was only 1.3 seconds, so Williamson is chopping that gap down, and he'll be on their back bumpers before you know it, and we'll have at least a 3-car battle for the lead, most likely before we even complete this lap number 8. As your lead duo, soon to be your lead trio, comes into turn number 6. Nickel looking low again. And we have the perfect angle to see him coming in and nipping those rumble strips at the apex of turn number 6, looking for a way to get position on Jose Garcia. Meanwhile, there goes Chris Hune, slinging the tail out a little bit as he comes through 6. And your leaders are on the back side of the track looking to get it settled out here. as we'll see where they all stand when they come out of 16 this time by and come to the line. So here we come. Leaders will be sweeping out of 16. Here we are coming to the line this time by. Still Garcia leading half a car length back to Raiden Nickel, who's making the move to the inside as they break for turn number 1. We've seen this before. He'll have the lead, but then here comes Garcia back to the inside as they go through 2. He'll have the outside position on 3, but he'll have the inside on 4, but he clears him before they even get to turn 3, and it looks like Garcia will maintain the lead, but all that excitement allows third place Keith Williamson to get right on the bumper of Raiden Nickel. So now we have the anticipated 3-car battle for the lead. Now the next time by, whenever Raiden Nickel makes his move, will Keith Williamson be able to follow in his tire track, take advantage of Garcia getting pushed out of position? And also, will Scott Carlisle be able to take advantage and close in? As it stands, they seem to have put a good deal of separation between the front 3 and 4th place Scott Carlisle. At the line, he was back 4 seconds from the leader, so right now it's a 3-car battle for first place honors in the Spec Miata division. So this is going to get good before it's all over. We are 12 and a half minutes into this final.
And this is shaking up to be a spicy finish, Bill. As your leaders make their way around the back side of the track.
One more time out of 16, coming down to the line to complete lap number 9. There goes Raiden Nickel underneath. He'll have the lead going into turn number 1. Let's see what Williamson does with that, as here comes Garcia. Off the track is Garcia trying to maintain his position, but it looks like Raiden Nickel may have him this time by as they go into turn number 4.
He makes the pass coming into 3,
and
Bill.
It will be Raiden Nickel, your leader now. Will Keith Williamson, does he have anything for Jose Garcia? And what does Jose Garcia have in mind for Raiden Nickel as they come down hard and fast into turn number 6? On the outside is Garcia. He knows he has the momentum, but he does not have the distance as Raiden Nickel takes the short way around 6 and relegates Jose Garcia back to 2nd place. So we actually have a change in the lead. Well, it won't be official till it gets to the line, but for right now, Raiden Nickel is your race leader. Jose Garcia now back in 2nd, but Keith Williamson right there looking to take advantage in 3rd place. Safely back in 4th is Blake Fabiani. Then comes Chris Hune, your first E30. Then Bill Griffin, Bill Kring, Jerry Griffin, and Jeremy Buckingham. So they are flying out there, and the positions are swapping left and right. Who knows what we'll see when they come out of 16 the next time by. Let's see what we can pick up on the Sky Cam. And it looks like
Jose Garcia all over the tail of Raiden Nickel.
He'll look to the outside as he comes into turn number 1. Taking a different tack than Raiden Nickel did, looking to have more mo coming out of turn number 1 so it can beat him back up the hill into 2, but it didn't work there. Meanwhile, Keith Williamson patiently waiting for something to happen where he can take advantage and improve on his 3rd place position. Now that was the completion of lap number 10. We have 10 laps in the books, 15 minutes on the clock now. 15 minutes expired in this final for Spec Miatas and Spec E30s. As it looks like Williamson's taking a run on Garcia as they come into 6, but not quite enough of one. He was closing in hard on Jose Garcia, but not able to do anything with him as they are 1, 2, 3 coming out of turn number 6. There goes Scott Carlisle. He'll be your 3rd place runner. Now 4th is Fabiani. I think I left Carlisle out of my last rundown. Then comes Chris Hune. He'll be 1st overall in the E30s. So it seems like the place to pass is going to be either in turn 1 or turn 6 or entering into turn number 4 so far. But as the laps wind down and the time winds down, they may get more and more creative. And here comes, oh, well, look at that. Who's leading is Jose Garcia looking again to the outside. He's side by side with Raiden Nickel, not able to pull it off, though. Will he have more momentum again going up the hill? No, but Keith Williamson will. Williamson's going to challenge for second as he pulls alongside Garcia. Going into turn 2, no. Garcia pulls him as they go into 3, and he'll maintain the position as they come through the carousel. 1, 2, 3 will be Nickel, Garcia, then Williamson. So there's action there, and that seemed to have cost Williamson a little bit of track position as his gambit did not succeed. But meanwhile, he'll try to take advantage of the dicing going on in front of him between Nickel and Garcia, see if he can get back in position and take advantage and perhaps get second or first place, as we are 11 laps into this event. 17 minutes, 13 seconds expired on the clock. As the rest of the field orderly comes through turn number 6, watching Chris Hune come by at this moment. Your Spec E30 leader.
Back in here.
Meanwhile, your leaders will be coming out of turn 16 any moment now. We'll see how they stack up. Let's look at the lap times now. They've been running 1:37s. And here we come out of turn 16. It's still Raiden Nickel, but Keith Williamson is putting the pressure on Jose Garcia for second as they all get down on the binders hard going into turn number 1. No change in position there as they were able to navigate past Buckingham lap traffic and continue up the hill through turn 2. Nickel able to stretch his lead out a little bit, visibly, say, 4 car lengths ahead of Jose Garcia now. Keith Williamson, another 4 car lengths back of Jose Garcia at the moment as the top 3 come into turn number 6. And boy, does Williamson close in. He is using up those brakes as he's trying to get position on Garcia to take second and maybe take a run at Raiden Nickel in the waning moments of this Spec Miata Spec E30 feature here at Atlanta Motorsports Park in Dawsonville, Georgia. Weekend number 5 of the Summer Racing Series. Watching Blake Fabiani come by us out of 6, followed by Chris Hune. Still in the lead in the Spec E30s. Meanwhile, on the backside, waiting to see our leaders come out of 16 and down to the line to complete lap number 13. Here they come. Coming down to the line, it will be Raiden Nickel, your leader, taking the white flag. Final lap, taking the white flag, and there goes Jose Garcia underneath there, side by side, coming out of 2. And there they go up the hill. Who's got the momentum? It looks like it'll be Nickel.
Oh, looks like Garcia might have missed a shift. Williamson coming up behind him goes to make the pass.
Williamson taking advantage of Garcia, not taking the ideal line in his attempt to get past Nickel, but it does not succeed as they are still nose to tail coming out of 4. But what that does do is give Raiden Nickel, say, a 10 car length lead as they come down the hill and prepare to enter turn number 6 for the final time. And look at Williamson looking to duck underneath Garcia. Nothing doing there. Thought about it, but didn't quite have the proximity to make it work as they head up and over the hill. Let's follow this on the AMP Skycam as we watch Nickel still holding on to the lead as they take that hard right-hander going up the hill again. There goes Garcia and Williamson. They go behind the tree. Well, how will they emerge? We do not know. We'll see them come out of 16 in just a moment as they'll take the checkered flag, completing this one. For the last time coming out of 16 will be your leaders. See how they stack up. Here they come. through 15 and into that sweeping 16. And they will, here they come out. It will be Raiden Nickel holding on for the win. Although Jose Garcia was close. Maybe another lap he could have done it, but he did pull away from Scott Williamson, leaving him in third. Third place for Scott Williamson, then, Keith Williamson, then Scott Carlisle will come along in fourth. And fifth place should be, as we see the checkered flags waving for, Blake Fabiani will be fifth. So had some action there. Chris Hune will come across and win Spec E30. So, William, we had quite a bit of dicing there. But it looked like once Raiden Nickel could close the door on Jose Garcia, it was his race.
Well, Bill, like we see time and time again, Raiden Nickel putting the hammer down in race number 2. That was a good, something he's not used to having is some competition there behind him. Jose Garcia putting up the fight most of that race. And then Keith Williamson throwing his hat into the ring about halfway through there, making that a fun 3-car battle. That was exciting to watch. I hope it was exciting for you folks at home.
So your final rundown will be Raiden Nickel, your winner. Jose Garcia second, Keith Williamson third. Scott Carlisle ends up fourth. Blake Fabiani is fifth. Sixth, Chris Hune, followed by Bill Griffin, Bill Kring, Jerry Griffin, and Jeremy Buckingham rounding out the top 10. Greg Treason will be 11th of the cars that started this race. And again, Chris Hune, finishing 6th overall, will win the SE30 class in this final here at Atlanta Motorsports Park. Well, William, it was a short program, but it was exciting as always. These guys came out and put their hearts and souls in it, and we had some great 2- and 3-car battles up there in the front and actually all the way through the field for both races today.
Yes, we did, Bill, and these E30s and Miatas did not disappoint, always a crowd favorite. And they definitely put on a show here today in Dawsonville, Georgia. We appreciate all you guys at home tuning in. We will be back at it again next month with action at both tracks, kart track and main track.
And speaking of which, as I pull up the old trusty calendar here, we'll be back with these guys that you watched today on the 14th of August. August 14th will be the big track with the Spec Miatas, and we should see the return of the downforce cars as well. That'll be fun. Then the following weekend on August 21st, they'll be back to the karts, and those are always exciting. Lots of action, excitement, and emotion when we get those karters out there on the kart track. So for my sidekick director, pilot, marketer, I don't know what other title I can give him, Will Rigdon. I'm Bill Rigdon, thanking you for joining us today for the Summer Series here at Atlanta Motorsports Park in Dawsonville, Georgia. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next month.